Welcome back to Diversity Show. It's always a pleasure to have you as our viewers. So today is another great day and we have another great episode. And on this episode I have a special guest. They said charity begins at home. So as much as I talk about race and I talk about diversity, it's also good to start from my home. So my guest today is my son. He was born in the United States. And his father is a Nigerian, and of course I am a Nigerian too. So he will come out, talk about race, and the good thing is that he's a young person growing up in America. So I interviewed a lot of older people in terms of race, but today I'm going to interview a young person that will give us a little insight in terms of race in America, and even in colleges, how they were able to incorporate all races while as a student at University of Virginia. So he's going to give us a little insight on how we can get along, irrespective of where we come from and what we look like and the color of our skin. So please help me welcome my dear son, Dozie Ezemma, to Diversity Show. Welcome, my son. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation to come to my show.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I'm very, very proud to have you as a son. All right, so today we're going to talk about diversity. I know you grew up in America, so you don't know any other culture but American culture.
It's true.
So growing up here, it's a place that I call a mosaic masterpiece, where you have people from China, from India, from Africa, and they're all living here. So, as a student, I know you met people from different racial backgrounds.
That's true.
So, as a young person, I know, many of us grew up outside America, so we grew up in a different culture. So, how do you people manage to interact with each other, irrespective of your racial backgrounds in college?
That's a good question.
Yes.
That's a very good question. Growing up in the U.S., you're bred into, or your origin begins with other cultures. So from a child, or even from 1, 2, we're already around people of other cultures, other ethnicities, other races. So it doesn't become a struggle to deal with other races because it's all we know. We become very used to it and become very acceptable. So I know if I was raised in Nigeria, I'd only know one culture in one way. But because I was raised in the U.S. and being exposed to so many different cultures, I'm able to understand and assimilate into other cultures, or more so understand and respect their traditions, their mannerisms, their honors, their personalities.
Thank you so much. As much as we're all from, we come from different backgrounds, and you have explained that all of you get along very well.
Yes.
But sometimes you do have a lot of discrimination, because you know what I tell people about racism. I know a lot of people are afraid to talk about racism, but I talk about it from a positive angle. It's not that I talk about it more like a hatred issue, because actually, let me give you a little background. Growing up, I grew up in Nigeria, and most of us, almost growing up throughout the time that I was in college, and even when I was older, all I saw were blacks only. So we didn't have any other ethnic group, apart from like tribal groups.
It's true.
So when I came to the United States, it was a culture shock. Even the word racism, I didn't know anything about it growing up in Nigeria. But when we came here, I heard about, oh, you're black, you're white, you're this and you're this, and I felt very uncomfortable because I didn't know that people can be, different in terms of, oh, I treat this person this way because they're this way. So that's why I decided to bring up this show to, from a neutral ground, because I didn't grow up here, just to tell people that even if you didn't grow up here and you come here and you meet people that look different from you can still be friends with them.
It's true.
And I have friends from different racial backgrounds. I have Indian friends, I have Chinese friends, I have, name it, I have them. And I'm very close to all of them. I interact with them just like I interact with people from Nigeria. So these are some of the things that I wanted to clear with people, that you can get along with people. If you clear some of the stereotypes.
It's true.
So going back to another question for you, what are some of the stereotypes that you heard about, different racist. I'm sorry to put you on a limelight.
No, it's fine.
And I'll tell you the reason why I asked you this question. Because I tell people, if there's a problem, if you have not identified that problem and you shove it under the table, we don't want to talk about racism, we don't want to talk about racism, it will be there and it won't be solved. But once a problem is brought to the limelight, then it's very easy to solve. So that's why I wanted to share, I wanted you to share some of the negatives that you've heard about your own culture, about other cultures, and then we will clear some of the stereotypes as much as we
So some of the negatives, also you have to understand the fact that I was raised in the U.S., I'm now known as a black man as well as a Nigerian man. So I deal with both stereotypes. In the sense of just being a Nigerian man, we're very educated, very driven, but in the Nigerian culture, we're seen as very unfaithful. So easily, wherever you go, if you ever run into somebody that's dealt with a Nigerian man, they almost look down on us like, oh, Nigerian men, they're not good. A lot of cultures also do the same. But also, when it comes to negative stereotypes, they call us very controlling. Nigerian men are very controlling, very strong, very opinionated, very controlling, and they want everything done their way. So that's another stereotype that you have to deal with. And also, these stereotypes, they're not completely wrong. But not everybody's the same. However, they do have some sort of truth to them in some way. But you cannot base culture based on
generalize
people.
exactly
Based on one people. Yes, you can understand there is a certain way that a certain culture acts, but just in general, just being Nigerian, those are some things I've heard. And then being a black man, as far as being a black man in the U.S., I've dealt with just people thinking that you're not as educated as other cultures, or that you are just athletic and you're not smart, or that people should be afraid of you. A lot of people fear you because I'm a black man. So you deal with those just growing up, especially being black in the U.S. You definitely deal with a lot of racism on that aspect as well.
exactly Thank you so much. You brought up major points, and it's good to bring this up, like I said before. And most of the things that you said, let me just give a little bit insight about it, because actually growing up here, I've had one stereotype. When I got a new job in a hospital, somebody came to me one day and I was speaking. She said, "Oh, I like your accent. Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Nigeria." She said, "Nigerian? Oh, a lot of Nigerians are con artists." So I looked at her, and as God would have it, I'm not sharp-mouthed trying to answer negatively when someone throws a negative thing to me. But fortunately that day, I asked her, I said, "Where are you from?" She said she's from Colombia. I looked at her, I said, "Oh, you are a drug dealer." She looked at me and she turned around, and I said it in a very sarcastic way because I just wanted to prove a point to her. So she became a little bit offended, and she looked at me, she said, no, my parents are very hardworking. We're not drug dealers with this, we work hard." And I was laughing within myself, trying to get another answer for her. So when I let her vent a little bit, and then I turned around to her and I said, just because you're from Colombia does not mean that you're a drug dealer. And just because I'm from Nigeria does not mean that I'm a con artist. So these are some stereotypes, and actually from that day on, she became one of my best friends at the hospital. We got along so well. She will come to me and she will ask me about my culture, and I will explain to her, and I will ask her about Colombia, and she will explain to me. So that will tell you that, you see, the people that she has met, maybe along the way, other Africans that she met, maybe she met them in a very negative way, and because of that, she stereotyped and thought that everyone from a certain place behaved this certain way. So that's that's the reason for this show, like I said, is to come out, clear some of these stereotypes, and then so that we can get along, because one thing is not applicable to everyone. So I always encourage people, be a good ambassador of your country wherever you are. And actually, I will tell you one more story that you will laugh about. Where we come from, when someone has dreadlocks, we look at them as if they have mental problem. I'm just being honest with you. So in Nigeria,
definitely, it's the older generation.
Anybody with a dreadlock walking on the streets is considered someone with a mental problem. So when we came here in the United States, when we saw people with dreadlocks, we run away and we look at them like something is wrong.
Different generation.
When they're coming on one street, we'll cross over to the other side of the street. Until after a while, we realized that not everyone, here in this culture, people can have dreadlocks. So these are some of the stereotypes. And one last one, tattoo. Where we come from, and actually when we came here, we thought people with tattoos are violent people and you're always afraid of them. So each time, once again, when we see people with tattoos, we cross over to the other side. We're like, oh my God, they're dangerous people. Until one day, one of my sons came home with a tattoo. And this is one of my best sons. And all my children, they're very wonderful. I have 5 boys. So he came home with a tattoo one day, and I was so scared. I said, why did you get a tattoo? He said, Mommy, I put your name on my body. That's what I wrote, and I wrote Jesus. I said, I don't care what you wrote on your body, but it's a tattoo. But after that, I realized that good people can have tattoos too. Because I saw my son, I know him very well. So I'm like, oh, so tattoo does not mean that someone is bad. So these are some of the stereotypes. So that's how it is with every culture. I mean, we talked about our own culture because this is what we know. It's the same with Chinese culture, it's the same with Indian culture. When you go to India, you have the caste system. They have the same, they look alike, but still they discriminate against each other. You go to Ireland, you can see discrimination. So I'm just telling everyone that discrimination and racism is rooted on hatred. And it has nothing to do with the color of the skin. Even, recently in the news, we heard about what happened in South Africa, where South Africans killed Nigerians. These are people that have the same color of skin. So hatred is hatred. Let's just get to the point. It has nothing to do with where you come from or what you look like. So let's clear those stereotypes. When you see people, embrace them, no matter what they look like. All right? Even if you had a bad experience with someone else. Okay, my son, it looks like I took over the show. Anyway, so do you have things? My last question to you is this. What advice would you give to someone from other racial background in terms of how to get along with people?
Definitely, I can tell you from living other places, I've experienced people that are very close-minded to other cultures. The advice I'd give to anybody when it comes to understanding other cultures and working with them is learn to accept how another culture is and stop comparing it to your own. So you have many different cultures and they have many different actions. Some cultures, they're more emotional. Some, they're more stringent in personality. Understand both feel the same way, but both express it differently. One culture likes music a certain way. The other culture likes music a different way. Just because it's different from yours doesn't mean you have to dislike it. It doesn't even mean you have to take part in it, but do not look down on it because you were not raised the same way. God made us all, and everybody has personalities. Even you yourself is not the same as your mother, father, sister, brother. You even have differences. So if you can understand that, then you can understand other cultures.
Thank you so much, my son. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you so much. And to cap this off, there's something that he pointed out that I wanted to elaborate a little bit. He said that God made us to come in different shapes, and then I'll add a little bit. We come in different shapes and different colors, because when you look at what God created himself, even animals, you have different colors of animals. Even fruits, you have yellow apple, you have red apple. And even what man created himself in terms of cars, you have black cars, you have white cars, you have different. So that's how the human race is. And it doesn't mean that a black car is better than a white car or a blue car is better than a red car. It's just how God created the world to look so beautiful. And that's how it is. So that's the end of our show today. And once again, I thank you, the viewers, for being here. It's always a great pleasure to have you as our viewers. So look forward to other episodes that will be coming out on Diversity Show. And if you want to be a guest at Diversity, if you're from India, from China, from Africa, from every part of the world, and you want to come out, talk about your culture, we can talk about the food, we can talk about marriage ceremonies, we can talk about raising children in your culture, so that others can learn about you and be able to understand why you do things the way you do it. So thank you so much for watching us. May God bless you all.
Amen.
Thank you for coming to the show.
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com